Not all fat is created equally. Firstly, you've got white fat, and it's the type that most people think of when they hear the word fat, and it piles around your belly. But there's another type of fat in your body, and rather than causing you to gain weight, it actually helps you burn calories, and it's called brown fat. You see, unlike white fat, brown fat burns energy, burns calories to produce heat, helping you to stay warm and burn calories at the same time. And the best part? You don't need to follow some crazy diet or spend hours in the gym to activate it. You might be wondering, who the heck are you and how do you even know about this? Well, my name's Doug and I've helped hundreds of men, maybe thousands at this stage, to burn fat and build a healthier lifestyle. So I've seen firsthand how these strategies can work. And today, I want to share them with you. So if you've been struggling with a slow metabolism or feel like fat loss is an uphill battle, this could be the key to finally getting the body that you actually want. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what brown fat is, why it's so powerful, and how you can activate it starting today. Before we jump into how to activate brown fat, let's start by talking about what it actually is and why it's so powerful. White fat stores energy, cushions your organs, and unfortunately, it's what contributes to stubborn belly fat. And this builds up over time when you eat in a calorie surplus. Brown fat, on the other hand, is a completely different story. Instead of storing calories, brown fat burns them to create heat and keep you warm. And this process is called thermogenesis. Here's where it gets exciting. Studies have shown that people with more brown fat tend to have a faster metabolism. They're better at regulating their blood sugar, burning calories, and even managing their weight. In other words, brown fat doesn't just help you burn fat, it can help you improve your overall health. And the best part, activating brown fat doesn't require any fancy equipment or expensive supplements. You just need to know how to turn it on. So now that you know what brown fat is and why it's so powerful, let's get into the juicy stuff and talk about how we can actually activate it. So it turns out there are 3 ways to wake up your brown fat and get it working for you. You've got cold exposure, specific types of exercise, and certain foods. Let's start with cold exposure. Cold temperatures are one of the simplest and most effective ways for you to activate brown fat. And that makes complete sense. Remember, white fat stores energy, whereas brown fat burns it to produce heat to warm you up. So if we cool you down, you're going to have to burn more of that energy, more of that brown fat to get warm again. But this doesn't mean that you want to jump straight in the ice bath. Just start small. A 15-second cold shower at the end of your normal shower can make a big difference. And once you build up some tolerance, try gradually increasing the time or lowering the temperature. And then, if you're feeling adventurous, that's when you can start considering things like ice baths or even cryotherapy. But if you don't have access to any of that stuff, you don't need to worry, because even stepping outside on a cold day wearing less clothes can help activate the brown fat. But like everything in life, the key here is consistency and not perfectionism, because doing this for one day isn't going to make any difference. Next up is exercise, and specifically we want to talk about HIIT, but I'm not talking about high intensity training, HIT. I'm talking about high intensity interval training, HIIT, because the research has shown that high intensity interval training can activate more brown fat while improving your overall health. And here's the bonus, HIIT saves time. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. A 20 to 30 minute HIIT session a couple of times a week is more than enough to get you started and start seeing results. Bodyweight exercises like squats, lunges, push-ups, pull-ups, and dips can be a fantastic place to start, particularly if you don't have access to equipment or a fancy gym. You don't have to go anywhere to do them, and it's not going to cost you any money, which really reduces the friction and helps you get started. So all you want to do is push yourself hard for 30 seconds, then rest for 30 seconds and repeat. And you can turn this into a little bit of a game, because every time that you try to do this workout routine, you can try to add an extra round. Now, this might humble you at first because you might find you can only do 5 rounds, but I promise you, if you stick with this, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can build up your capacity and get up to 20, even 30 rounds. And finally, let's talk about diet. Certain foods contain compounds that have been shown to stimulate brown fat activity. One example is capsicum, which is the compound that gives chili peppers their heat. So if you can handle a little bit of spice, why not add chili to your meals? But if you're not a fan of spicy food, don't worry. You can give green tea a go instead, because it's been shown to contain compounds that boost the activation of brown fat without the heat. Other metabolism boosting foods like cinnamon, turmeric, and omega-3 rich fatty fish can also support your goals. But when it comes to your diet, it would be remiss of me not to caveat this by saying that you can eat all the capsicum and turmeric and cinnamon that you want, but if you're not in a deficit, you're not going to lose weight or burn body fat. So the start point really always has to be to calculate your maintenance calories and then put yourself into that calorie deficit. But if you're not sure how to do that, you can click the link in the description that's underneath this video and use my completely free calorie calculator. It'll only take you 30 seconds and I'll send your calorie target straight to your inbox. Next up, I'm going to show you how to fit these habits and foods into your daily routine without turning your life upside down. Let's talk about how we're actually going to put these into action. The key with all of them is to start small and build up over time. So if you're new to cold exposure, don't dive straight into an ice bath because that's a surefire way to make yourself hate it. Just start with something simple. So at the end of your shower, turn the water to cold for 15 seconds. And listen, it'll feel uncomfortable at first, but that's the whole point. And then over time, increase it to 30 seconds and then 45. Then when you're ready, you can try an ice bath, but start small here too. It doesn't sound like much, but 10 to 15 seconds is plenty for your first attempt. You can expect your brain to scream at you to get out. That's normal. The key is to control your breathing. So take a slow, deep breath in through your nose for 3 seconds, and then breathe out for another 3. It really helps if you count in the head. And if you can get to 2 or 3 breaths, you're doing great because every breath is 6 seconds. So build up gradually, and in a few weeks, you'll be amazed at how much easier it gets. For exercise, start with a simple HIIT routine that you can do at home. No fancy equipment required. So you could do 30 seconds of push-ups, then rest for 30 seconds, then 30 seconds of bodyweight squats, rest for another 30 seconds, and then repeat that for as many rounds as you can. Like I said earlier, and I'm going to keep repeating it because it's important. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. And when it comes to your food, again, let's keep it simple. If you like spice, sprinkle some chili flakes into your meal or add a dash of hot sauce. It's an easy way to activate brown fat without overhauling your diet. And if you're not a fan of spice, just try swapping 1 cup of coffee for a green tea. It's loaded with those compounds that support brown fat activation, and it can give you a smoother energy boost without the crash that caffeine does. The takeaway here is simple. You don't have to make massive changes to activate brown fat. Small, consistent actions are what matter most. Because if you can stick to these habits, it can lead to huge results over time. And that's what I want to talk about next. Here's the truth. None of these methods will work if you only do them once or twice. Think of it like this. Every small step that you take, whether it's a 15-second cold shower, a quick HIIT workout, or just adding chili flakes to your dinner, silly as it sounds, it's like planting a seed. Now, one seed won't grow into a forest, will it? But if you keep planting those seeds every day, the results will come. For example, if you commit to a 15-second cold shower just 3 times a week, at first, I'm not going to lie to you, it will suck. Your body will resist and your brain will tell you to stop. But after a few weeks, something amazing happens. It gets easier. I'm practicing what I preach here because I do this every single day. Do I hate it? You bet. Do I dread it? Absolutely. But I still turn up and I still get it done. And you know what's wild? Every day I get out of that shower with a massive grin on my face. I can't even control it. And the same goes for the HIIT workouts. I haven't replaced my gym routine with these HIIT workouts, but I'll still do 2 to 3 rounds every morning. So what it looks like for me is I'll do 25 push-ups, then I'll do 25 bodyweight squats, I'll rest for 60 seconds, and then I'll repeat that 2 to 3 times. For me, with those rounds that I'm doing in the morning, it's not specifically even about making progress towards a goal. It's just about showing up. Because when you're consistent, your body starts to adapt. Your metabolism starts to speed up. Your energy levels improve. And then you start to build something that's so powerful that if you could bottle it and sell it, you'd be a billionaire. And that's momentum. You cannot buy momentum. It's earned. And it's earned by the people who are consistent. The momentum makes it easier for you to continue being consistent. And then the small wins start adding up to massive progress. Because trust me, the healthiest 1% of men in the world aren't doing anything fancy. And they are certainly not perfect. They're the ones who just keep turning up even when it's hard. They're not motivated, they're disciplined. Before we wrap up, let's clear up a few common myths about brown fat and weight loss. Myth number 1, activating brown fat guarantees weight loss. This is probably the biggest misconception. Yes, brown fat can help you burn more calories and improve your metabolism. But it's not a magic bullet. If you're not in a calorie deficit where you're eating fewer calories than you're burning, you're not going to lose weight and burn fat, no matter whether you're activating your brown fat or not. Because the real key to weight loss is balancing your calorie intake and expenditure. Myth number 2, cold exposure alone will melt fat. Sure, exposing your body to cold temperatures can help you to activate brown fat, Just don't expect to sit in an ice bath and burn 10 pounds in 10 minutes. Cold exposure is just one piece of the puzzle. It works best when you combine it with exercise, a good diet, and healthy habits. Myth number 3. You can't activate brown fat without extreme measures. This one isn't true either. You don't need to live in a cryotherapy chamber or put chili on your cornflakes. Small, manageable steps done consistently, just like we spoke about, is what's really going to move the needle. Because at the end of the day, activating brown fat is about being consistent and balanced. And by understanding what brown fat can and can't do, you'll avoid falling into the traps of unrealistic expectations. The stuff that we've spoken about today sets you up for long-term success. I'll leave the video there for today. I hope you enjoyed it, but more importantly, I hope you found it useful and even learned something new. And if you want to find out what the 3 proven ways are for any man over 35 to burn belly fat faster, then go and watch this video next. Until next time, cheers.